Hello there, and welcome to your General Weekly Tarot card reading for the week of April 15th, 2019. This week I'm using the Everyday Witch Tarot cards by Deborah Blake and intuiting any additional information that comes in from our guides and from the universe so that we have absolute best understanding on what is to come in the upcoming week. So, I hope that you are doing well. I hope that last week wasn't too crazy for you. I hope that your ego wasn't in too much of control, and if it was, just take some time to reflect on the week that just passed. Maybe some of the experiences that you faced. Maybe some of the things that you were craving or tempted to really engage in, and just kind of where you were looking to spend your money, because usually there are some messages there. Myself personally, I definitely overindulged a little bit, definitely in like the going for expensive coffees realm, but definitely I've been looking at a lot of home decor stuff, which is it's definitely not a necessity, but it's like a passion of mine. It's a hobby of mine to look at all of that stuff and to play around with all of that home decor kind of space. But it was very tempting to drop a bunch of money on stuff that probably I don't need to spend my money on right now. So what was your temptation last week? It's a good time to reflect. The energy of this week is interesting. To summarize it in one word, I would say annoyed. Whatever is going to be coming up for you will feel similar to annoyance. For some, it's kind of stress and anxiety a little bit, but it's just being uncomfortable and being unsettled. So the energy that's coming in will be pushing us. It will be like condensing us. They're using the word condensing. So really just squeezing us so that all of our juices kind of just pop out. So keep that in mind going through your week. If you find yourself being a little bit extra testy, that definitely could be why. If you have particular people in your life that you tend to have a little bit of difficulty with, perhaps next week might be a great time for you to keep your distance from them. If they do find themselves in your presence, make sure that you are taking extra precaution to breathe. Make sure that you're letting go of your anger or your annoyance or your distaste for the person, because when we feel annoyed, that sometimes gives us a little bit of permission to act in a way that perhaps we're not later proud of or is not super loving. So just be mindful of this going forward into the week. When I began this video, they showed me this beautiful, delightful meditation. So if you're a person who likes to clear your energy every week, if you're energetically sensitive and you feel gross at the end of every day, it might be a good time for you to start clearing your energy, because as we walk through life, we tend to, vacuum stuff up. And if you're the type of person who likes to watch videos like this, the chances is that you just kind of are everybody else's sponge and you walk around just absorbing other people's stuff. So it's a good idea to clear your energy. So one way that, we typically do this is to go up to the light, or we bring in light, or we use light, we imagine it, whatever it is, it usually has to do with, ascending upwards in a sense. This week, ground yourself into the earth. If you're starting to feel like this annoyance or this anxiety, however it's manifesting for you, if you're feeling that coming up a little bit too much, it's time to take a breath and to ground yourself, because it'll become very easy for you to detach from your physical. It'll be really easy for us to detach a little bit from planet Earth, and we'll kind of all be running around feeling really ungrounded, and that's not a really great place to be, because that just prevents us from problem solving, and things are just easier if we're grounded. It feels really nice sometimes to be ungrounded, but this week that feeling won't really feel nice. It'll just feel a little bit chaotic. So Make sure you ground yourself into the earth. You can do this by intending it. You can visualize roots growing from your feet, anchoring you to the core of the planet. You can visualize a cord coming out of your tailbone going down to the center of the planet. You can walk around in your bare feet. You can touch the ground. There's plenty of ways that you can ground yourself. Even sometimes drinking water will help you do this. So you can chant, like if you chant Om or Ah, if you say Ah, that will help you ground. All of this to say, that should be enough to clear out your energy like that. So just connecting into the planet and just staying there and just breathing. It was like things were just melting off of me when they showed me this. So you may not really necessarily have to work that hard this week to clear out whatever it is that's coming up for you that needs to go. It might just be as simple as remaining grounded into the earth so that you can release whatever it is that is coming up that needs to go. And it's just as simple as grounding into the earth and just sitting there and breathing. And it might actually stay very nice. You might be really happy staying there, and you may not necessarily want to come back up from the earth in your meditation. So that is my advice to you this week. This one wants to come out. Let's see what the cards say for us this week. No. Sorry, that was the one, but it's not. Okay. Okay, it might also be a bit of a tiring week. I felt like last week things were moving, and as weird as I thought it was going to be going in, it turned out for me to actually be a pretty good week. I was very motivated. I got so much stuff done. I felt very productive, and it felt like, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, that the concrete is starting to kind of break on the statue a little bit, and you can see the man who's underneath the statue becoming exposed once again. So he's going to be able to start really breaking free from his concrete prison, and he'll be able to move forward. So that was a couple weeks ago that was starting, and I really felt like we gained a lot of momentum last week, but I feel like this week it might be a little bit more of a struggle to get things done. It might be there might be a little bit more fatigue in the air. So again, that grounding meditation, the visualization, however it is that you would like to ground, would be an excellent thing to partake in to help relieve some of that exhaustion. For the general theme of this week, we have the Nine of Wands. I just have to say also too, there's a lot of stuff coming up this week. So this week is a really great week to engage in self-care and to take extra care when you do anything. Like they're even showing me, like when you take things out of the oven, be careful you don't burn yourself, because when we're a bit exhausted, or when there's so much happening kind of going on in the background, all this clearing that's happening in the background of our minds, we can forget to be present and being mindful of what we're doing. So when you're doing things that could actually hurt you, like driving or taking things out of a hot oven or stove or anything like that, just ground yourself and make sure that you're taking things out of the oven. This all really is interconnected. So like the ungroundedness will also trigger this. This is a result of being ungrounded. It's all of these things. So really make sure that you're grounded this week, and that will help you to be more present so that you can avoid unnecessary accidents. So with this card, we have the Nine of Wands for the theme of this week, which kind of makes sense. She's been beaten down. Has her back up against the wall. She is fighting. She's not sure if she should give up or if she should just keep going, but she's going to keep going basically until she turns to dust. You could be feeling a little bit defeated, or you could just be ready to charge and be ready to lose everything just to win. So wherever you are this week, take time for rejuvenation. It's really important to replenish these resources because this energy is very heavy. And it's interesting that it's such a heavy energy Last week was a bit lighter, which is nicer. It feels nicer. This is so heavy. And it's interesting, though, that as a result of this, we are becoming ungrounded. So what they're kind of showing me is all of this energy coming down, making everything feel really heavy, which then makes all of this stuff start kind of squeezing out of us. Like all of this stuff comes up to the surface that we want to clear. And as a result of that, because there's just so much of it, we want to just go back up to source where it feels good. And we just want to leave our physical bodies, our physical experience, because the physical body might be having some challenges. You might be getting headaches. You might be feeling really tired. You might just be feeling super annoyed all the time. So however this goes, we kind of want to escape a little bit. But you really need to consciously ground yourself. And that is also a way to help you relieve this fatigue. And that's kind of what they're talking about too, is when we go down to the earth, we're grounded. And that's where our bodies can kind of just relax and know that it's okay, because you're in this beautiful little womb that is Mother Earth. And you can just go back to the mother and just let it all fall out of you and into her so that she can use it for something else. She can transmute it. This is just a lot of like, you have a lot of stuff being thrown at you this week, and it's just, you're just exhausted. Your allies have all fallen. It's just you fighting the good fight, and you're going to keep going because you have to, but you feel exhausted and defeated and a little bit beaten up. So this is beautiful. This fits perfectly with what I was saying. So the Four of Swords on Monday, Tuesday, this is exactly what it looks like. She's resting. It's time to sometimes just take a little bit of a break, to replenish yourself, to sleep. The best things to do when you cannot solve a problem is to let them go and have a good sleep and come back when you're fresh. Yeah, just rest. Don't complicate it. Just chill. If you have crazy things happening Monday, Tuesday, maybe it's rescheduling it. It's about getting creative. Interesting. So we have the Three of Swords in the middle of the week. This is about heartbreak. So that kind of makes sense, because when we're clearing a lot of stuff out of the heart chakra, we feel annoyed, we feel angry, we feel heartbroken. All of that stuff kind of comes up to the earth, and when we're healing the heart space, that can be very challenging for us. It's a very challenging thing to clear because that's where all of our heartbreak lives. So again, make sure you're resting, make sure you're taking care of yourself and replenishing, and take note of the things that you're saying, because it could be a result of you're just whatever it is that you're clearing, you don't actually mean it. So avoid people who are triggers for you. And if somebody does contact you who is a trigger, that's actually a beautiful blessing, because that gives you an opportunity to deal with whatever feelings that they bring up to the surface for you. In a way that you don't actually have to face them and experience it that way. You can almost do it beforehand. You can deal with all of the feelings that they bring up before you actually have to see them face to face. Wow, another Swords card. Eight of Swords on the weekend. So when we have the Swords is about the mental space. It's about our mind, which is interesting because that's not necessarily where I was feeling all of this pressure. So a lot of the stuff that'll be clearing for us this week will be processing, I guess, up in the mental body. It'll be very much our, not quite our reptilian brain, but it'll be very much our human ego. It'll be the parts of ourselves that are perhaps not quite as evolved as the spiritual side of ourselves. So the Eight of Swords is about feeling trapped. It's the illusion of being trapped. So whatever comes up for you this week may perhaps lead you to feeling that you're trapped and that you're all alone, and that that definitely does tend to happen when we're feeling sad about whatever we're clearing. We feel, if it's really intense, it can become very isolating because you think that it's never going to end and you're the only person going through it. Well, as we all know in this reading, that you will not be the only person. We'll all be going through this. And this isn't going to be so terrible. This will be different for everybody, and you have the tools that you can deal with it. Just go down into the center of the planet. But this is about feeling trapped, and this is a card to help you remember that you are not. You have resources at your disposal. You have healers, you have therapists, massage therapists, you have your friends, your family, your network. You have fun around you. You have all of these things at your disposal that you can help to clear all of this stuff out and make yourself feel better. So it's very important to remember, especially when we're feeling trapped, that we're actually not. And maybe now when you're in a good headspace, maybe write down all of the things that do make you feel better. If you are starting to feel alone and isolated and a little bit heartbroken, maybe it is time to write those things down so that you can refer to them later. When you're in such a state that you have to do it right away, you can't even think about it. You just have to look at your list and say, okay, going to the mall actually makes me feel better, so I'm just going to go do that and not think about it. So with all of this heart clearing that's happening, just be really gentle with yourself. Fill yourself up with lots of love. Rest as much as you can, because when we clear the old heart traumas and all of that, it's not fun. Who likes to have a broken heart? We don't always clear out everything when we deal with broken hearts. So that's why sometimes these really intense times come, is to push us so that we can push all of that stuff out, so that we can heal our hearts and all of the traumas and all of the damage that was done because of those things. And so we can move forward to become more whole and complete, and to be better versions of ourselves, so that we can become truly who we are meant to be here. So this is all good. It might seem a bit daunting going into this week. Of course, I am here for you each and every week. If there's anything I can do from a coaching perspective, or tarot card readings, or healings and meditations, those types of things, please feel free to reach out. You can email me at thejourneytospirit@gmail.com. And if you have not already, please come by katiehunt.ca to subscribe, so that you can be entered to win a free tarot card reading with myself, but also so that you can receive weekly insights only shared through there. It'll be an interesting week. So please don't go into fear about it, because it's going to be all good. It's all to serve us. It's all to help us on our spiritual path and to become, the people that we're meant to be. So journal a lot. That will also help to get some of this stuff out that is coming up to the surface. If you feel like you want to just sit and cry, you should do that as well, because that will definitely help. But I cannot stress the importance of journaling. It has helped me in so many ways, and I will walk around for weeks with something spewing around in my head and just feeling like totally defeated by it. And as soon as I put it on paper, it's like it goes. So try things like that and see if they work. Thank you so much for watching each and every week. If you have not already, please remember to like and share and subscribe so we can grow this thing together, and have a fantastic week. I love you so much, and I'm sending you all of the good vibes to get through this week. It is going to be good. Thank you for being here. Have a great week.